Hi, good evening and welcome to This Week in Joe's Basement. Joe's not here, he's doing his hair somewhere. But he handed me these things and I have to read them and I've got to do this. So this is for the gigantic, massive, whatever, Joe's Basement, humongous party, bash, whatever you want to call it. Well, before I go into whatever, I want you guys to run and get a videotape and tape this really important information because I want you guys to know where it's going to be at. So, let's see. Now, let's see, where are we going, what we're doing. We are going to be doing this thing, and it's going to be at the Art and Noise Hall, which is going to be over on 59th Street, yeah. And I just want to give you guys some quick directions, and depending on whichever way, wherever way you're coming from. Now, the first thing I want to do is give you guys that are coming from up north to here, and I just want to let you know that if you're coming from up north, you're going to take Lakeshore Drive, and you're going to go all the way straight to like 57th Street, and you're going to get off 57th. Now, when you get off of 57th Street, it's going to like make sort of a curve in the road. It's going to be like past the museum, and you're going to go to a stoplight. And you get to the stoplight and it's going to be 57th Street. You're going to go straight. Now, you can't go all the way straight because there's going to be like viaducts, you know, railway tracks. You can't go under there. You have to go take a left to the Stony Island. And you're going to go all the way down Stony Island, go, until you get to 59th Street. And then it's like 59th. And then, you know, look at this map, this strange looking thing. And you go 59th, and then you go straight. It's like right there. You can't miss it. It's right there. And the address is 1212 East 59th Street. Okay? So that's for that, whatever. And this is going to be, again, it's going to be on February 17th. It's on a Wednesday night, starting at 8 p.m. And you can see the address up there. So anyway, first of all, next to, I want to give you some more thingies. Now, if you're coming from the Dan Ryan, like if you're going to take the Dan Ryan from wherever, here's what you need to do. You're going to take the Dan Ryan, get off at 55th Garfield, right? And you're going to go all the way straight east off of 55th. And then you're going to get to Washington Park, which is going to be on your left, I would think. Yeah, you're going to be driving, so it's going to be on your left. And then the road's going to curve, and it's going to go around Washington Park, and there's going to be a beautiful big statue, and it's the March of Time, and Loretto Taft. Good person. And then you're going to go around, and it's going to like that curve around. And then you're going to get to it's going to be a stoplight, Woodlawn, and you go past over the stoplight, and then it's going to be 59th Street, and it's right there. You can't miss it. And there, bang. And there's parking, and you know, actually get there soon because parking is good, but you want to get there and get a good parking spot. So come on down. Everyone's going to be there, the whole crew, me, my husband Tim, and it's going to be a great bash. Everyone.
They do a job on your ass.
God.
That's great. I love that. The way your body just lies there in two pieces, you know, and the blood.
Hey guys.
Hey
Joe. God, look, his arm is cut off. Too.
Yeah, it chops you right in half. And the blood continues to drip down the grate.
Prince of Persia, huh?
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Hey guys,
That's a great game.
Can we do my opening?
You want to do work?
I'm afraid so, yeah.
We're not done yet.
I know, I'm such a fucking slave driver.
Alright.
There'll be a bonus in our paychecks, right?
You get a 100% raise. Guaranteed. Wait, I'll pay you. Yeah, that's right. Ah, that looks good. My backlight's not as strong as I'd like it.
They still suck and focus on you, dude.
Alright.
Zoom's been kind of slow today.
Yeah. Right, cold.
Okay.
Good evening, and welcome to This Week in Joe's Basement. I'm Joe, and this is my basement. So this week in Joe's Basement, while we eagerly anticipate the big mammoth production of the Joe's Basement live show, for which I should have been given adequate driving directions to get there, no matter what point in the city you're coming from. Michelle, do a good job, guys? What do you think?
Yeah.
Once we put in the other stuff, yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so now you know how to get there, to Max Plevsky Auditorium, Idenoise Hall, University of Chicago, blah, 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 etc., etc. So you should all come down. It should definitely be a strange and interesting and wondrous event, especially for those of you slugs who missed our party and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, all right. So got some mail to respond to before we get on to this week's big event here. And we got somebody that we hope to see, non-viewer who showed up at our party and drank some of our free beer. Allison Maxwell. Dear Joe, I came across your address in the old reader and decided I had to write you to thank you and your crew and friends for that great party in September at the Love Loft. So Bob, is this the girl you gave your phone number to?
Yeah, you know, she called a couple times and I just forgot to get back to her. Actually, I lost her number. It was on a napkin and I had to wipe my mouth or something like that.
I've never used that line before. Well, anyway, so Allison, if you're watching, which you probably aren't, we hope to see you at, she's in Rolling Meadows, Illinois, where they don't get Joe's Basement, so she and hundreds of other 708ers like her, and we hope to see you guys over at Plevsky. Come down into the hood. Got a postcard from an old friend of ours, formerly known as the Comrade. I'm writing to you from the island of Long in Nuevo, New York. I'm conspiring with the local corporate robots to start up the last word in fast food, Big Buddha Burgers. The menu will feature meat-like burgers composed of soy and the finest selection of industrial byproducts. Bring the kids, Big Buddha's your buddy, registered trademark. Because this development and the lack of hard currency in the ex-Soviet Union, I am no longer called the Comrade. The Comrade we've heard from, of course, in previous call-in shows. I'm sure my former business partners, Yuri, Boris, and Vato will understand. Formerly the Comrade, currently your buddy, Big Buddha, registered trademark, combining the finest in Western capitalism and Eastern philosophy with a picture on the reverse to illustrate this blend, I guess. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, always good to hear from Comrade, Buddha, whoever. Another old friend, Rob Ligorio. He's a fellow who attended our party and made quite a splash there, as those of you who saw last week's show saw from some of our party watching footage. He was the guy who I referred to as somebody I had to take shit from all night long. And very entertaining nonetheless. And he writes to us, "Hey Joe, what do you know? Saw myself on your TV show."
God.
See what I mean? Can you imagine having to imagine what he's like when he's had a few beers in him? Hubba hubba! My lovely wife, Mrs. Jane, and I both thought the 50th anniversary party was truly spectacular. Really enjoyed meeting the various people involved with the show, yourself included, you little worm.
He has great personal warmth.
Yeah. As far as giving you shit all night long, hey, what are fans for? Tush might have other ideas, I suppose, but... Being a serious consumer of free beer, I felt compelled not only to offer you my sage advice, but to also properly direct your affairs as the evening wore on as the barrel emptied. Why should you be any different from anyone else? I must have vindicated myself somehow as you saw fit to honor me with 15 to 20 seconds of airtime. I appreciate it, Joe, and look forward to badgering you some more at the upcoming event. Keep up the good work, Mr. Rob. Well, I guess he's not him, as I kind of had hypothesized. I guess there are 2 people that are that obnoxious, at least, who watch this show. Where would I be without my sparring partner, so, right? Anyway, an old sparring partner of mine for a long time, actually. This is sort of a personal letter. This is, in fact, not a Joe's Basement letter at all, but I thought I would share it with you. Genghis, known as the Cigarette Man, who's been in Portland the last few years, he scribbled me this note the other day. He said, Joe, discs for you. I sent lots of stuff. You should do the same. I've been drinking a lot of coffee. Anyway, and if any of you those who've seen how he responds to the need for cigarettes, that's just sort of how Genghis communicates. All right, I've gotten off the beaten path. I mean, if I got any worse, I'd start showing you all my vacation photographs, and that would really be bad.
Joe in a compromising position in Las Vegas.
Yeah, right. Just being in Las Vegas is a compromising position.
The picture of Joe with the hooker, yeah.
All right, guys. Anyway, so, Tanya, we got your letter. It's I've been looking for it all week. It's sitting under a pile of socks somewhere. But John Kohler is seriously considering your offer. Anyway, if I dig that up, the rest of you will know what I'm talking about. Meantime, Tanya and I can share a private laugh. All right. So, this week in Joe's Basement, we're trying another novel experiment in television. The discussion group, taken to a new informal extreme at the local Medici restaurant. We've assembled a cast of Joe's Basement all-stars. The mailman, seen in our episode about UFOs, who turned the discussion towards the doubt of the existence of 57th Street. The Comrade, heard from many viewers in our last call-in show, and Sandwich Dan, last seen spinning round and round in an industrial-strength dryer. With a cast like this, how could you fail? So I invited them all to dinner, coffee, and lots of intelligent discussion at the Medici.
Yeah.
So anyway, it occurred to me, I think, the people who really know the solution to all the world's problems are people who sit around and drink lots of coffee in coffee houses like this one, I think. Anyway, it's the notion here. So I figured if we just got enough smart people sitting around, we could sort of solve the world's problems in we got half an hour, 45 minutes.
All right, so where shall we start?
Yes, which problem do you want solved first? In which world? Yes, good thinking.
In which world? Well, probably. Yeah, I'll leave that up to you guys. But
the ozone on Mars, I understand, is getting to be a really big problem.
Or lack thereof.
Well, Earth, I think. Anyway, so I had this little thought problem that occurred to me the other day. I started looking for something to get a hold of. I probably should have picked something smaller, but here goes. It's sort of it thought it'd be interesting to bandy about. If you could do one thing, to make the world a better place, what would it be? That's basically the notion. And they're obviously the universe Yes, but we pick people here for their ability to think about these things. Rather than
I suggested a lot of clones of Cindy Crawford.
As long as they don't sing.
Or do exercise videos.
Anyway, you can sort of. Actually, I think you should let that percolate in the back of your minds and have lots of sugar and caffeine in your system before you even begin to tackle it.
Right, yeah, no, that's an exciting
Don't you think you can probably get initial ideas that just come to the top of your head at first, and then ideas that percolate and then come to the surface. I mean, my first thought is serve more Jell-O. Restaurants, cafeterias, whatever.
Same line I was thinking.
Because it's such a fantastic substance. There should be a lot more done with Jell-O. Actually, I'm contemplating putting Jell-O in my bathtub just for fun.
Now, why would Jell-O make the world a better place? I mean, I hope you're right.
Just when you say Jell-O, it just puts a smile on somebody's face.
Okay.
It's a happy substance. It's fun.
So at least it's doable.
It is doable.
Think about that.
Would it be government subsidized Jell-O or private enterprise Jell-O?
It would probably be government subsidized because, along the lines of the 5-pound blocks of cheese, it's bulk Jell-O.
I hear there's warehouses full of Jell-O outside Washington D.C. They're just holding out, keeping the Jell-O prices artificially inflated. I read that somewhere.
There's some way you could test it. In other words, we could, try this in a pilot project.
Maybe you could actually deliver Jell-O.
I'd be happy to. It would be nice to make the world a better place, and if that would be the solution, terrific.
Little notes from me, courtesy O sandwich
But
day.
then there should be a correlation between Jell-O consumption and happiness. I mean, isn't that reasonable? I mean, I take it into utter seriousness. Why not? You need unorthodox solutions. Nobody's ever suggested this before.
Right. Not as far as I know.
It certainly makes Bill Cosby a happy guy.
That's right.
There you go.
Makes his employers happy, yeah.
Would fire off a letter to
what if
Bill
there was some, I mean, wouldn't it be nice, like in Brave New World, I guess there's Soma, if there was some nice, some little substance, you know, maybe it's just everybody's got a shortage, some nutrient, some substance, whether we haven't all had since the Middle Ages, or that wasn't a too happy time, maybe further back. You know, it's like, maybe it's in Jell-O, you know, some substance that would just make people mellow, happy, socially constructive, not fight wars, be productive, and the whole bit.
You know, I actually have some Jell-O at home that I was going to make the other day, but my girlfriend is over there, and she informed me that Jell-O is actually made with like hooves.
Horses' hooves. Yeah,
Oh, is that right?
He is horses' hooves. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Oh, I
I know.
didn't
Which,
know.
Ground up horses' hooves, man.
News to me.
sort of turned me off of the idea, you know, just temporarily.
Well,
I'll get
there's
over it. I
Jell-O.
imagine this stuff just tastes so damn good.
Well,
Get over it. Tim.
Yeah,
It's such a
sugar-
fantastic-
sugar-
But chocolate syrup is also really good.
Yeah.
That's made out of horse's hoof. What's it? Horse's hooves too?
No, that's pig's feet.
Chocolate syrup is.
Yeah, it's pig's feet. Yeah.
Now I can't eat Jell-O, can't.
It's
Yeah, I was
interesting.
thinking
You all
about
think of happiness as a tranquilizer, and I'm not so sure that's necessarily a good assumption.
If we all stopped
would
eating
have to-
meat, it would make the world a much better place.
Why so?
Why? Because we'd have a lot more land to use for other things.
Right, but it's being so poorly used right now. I mean, the government is
By
subsidizing.
grazing?
The government is subsidizing people to grow weeds. You know, so as long as all the arable land isn't being used to its fullest, I don't see why we should be
Well, we
penalized.
have a lot
for-
more trees, therefore a lot more paper. People could write down good ideas and fire them off to other people. How's that?
Have they ever been known to do that?
I sent my resume to Bill Clinton.
See, you're the grand philosopher, and I'm just a grubby research assistant. And you come up with these theories, then I try to figure out somewhere we go. Which
I
is,
mean, I didn't catch it before. Did you say happiness is a tranquilizer?
I'm saying you're making that assumption,
Oh.
and I question whether or not, because in the history of philosophy, that happiness was always equated with tranquility.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe it
I
is.
mean, if you
I
did
just
say happiness is a tranquilizer, I mean, you
No,
know,
I'm accusing
you're
everyone
probably
else
the
of
most
saying
mellow
that.
person I swear I've ever met. Very low key. You must be very happy
almost a
individual.
vacuum.
That's right, because, for instance, it varies regionally. In New York, people aren't happy unless they're pissed off.
Yeah, I think they're never happy at all, but I'm not fond of New York myself. So.
Well, you get into
I thought
a
New York they
Wittgenstein
didn't get
problem
happy
with the
until like there was
definition.
something bad going on that they could
The word
ignore.
happiness.
Well, that doesn't take
It's a
long.
loaded term. You see, we all unconsciously assume happiness is a
It is
goal to
loaded,
be.
but I mean, we all intuitively know. Like, you ask any given person, they always, you know, people always know whether they're happy or not, unless they're like angst-ridden, like Woody
Yes.
Allen or something. That they know whether they're happy or not.
That's right. But,
So,
but to define it
in that
is
sense-
almost a hopeless task. Or is
Yeah,
it?
to define it for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, Buddha,
Yeah.
Christ, all the great philosophers have tried to, you know, supposedly the goal is some sort of self-fulfillment, satisfaction, happiness is kind of lurking amidst all these great philosophical ideas. One modifies one's behavior. Presumably, the idea is to somehow offset the terrors of mortal coil.
Right.
You know, and happiness is the elusive goal. And, you'd almost say, in the biblical sense, we were kicked out of the Garden of Eden.
Right.
And a man's...
I mean, you want to pursue happiness as long as you don't step on anybody else's toes to do it. So you have to pursue happiness within reasonable bounds.
Well, you see, happiness is, as I said, it's a little term. You could look at an external saying and say it's really behavior modification. You see,
But it's an internal state.
you modify. Well,
unhappy or
but see, this
unhappy.
is where we interact with each other. We say, well, if you do this, modify your behavior, you will be happy. This is always the carrot.
Right.
There's two great motivators in the world: sticks and carrots. Throughout
Well,
the
so,
ages, it
well,
all
in that
comes down
case, I
to
mean, if you
those
want to
two
get down to the
things.
Skinnerian principles, happiness is actually this cluster of neurons in your brain which you can stimulate in rats and get them to the pleasure center, right?
You do it in
Through the
humans
Skinner
too.
box, yes, yes,
Be a
that's
wirehead.
true. That's right. Yeah. Happiness could be defined in a Skinnerian physiological sense. Simply, you're getting those neurons stroked
Right.
in some way.
To get the happiness neurons. Yeah.
Well, this leads to the drug culture. You can have simulated happiness. You don't have to do anything. We will simply inject you with certain substances, whatever combinations thereof, stimulate the neurons, and you're happy. You don't have to, do the Puritan ethic and all these other things to achieve happiness.
Now, Sandwich Dan was probably pursuing something like that when he did whatever he did to himself last night that has him hungover, tired, sick, and red in the face. Right? So you were pursuing happiness in the sense
I was
by
pursuing happiness.
But trying to load it. I'm actually trying to cajole you into amusing us and making us happy for a few minutes and telling us what it was you were doing.
I overloaded last night.
How's it going?
It was just ugly, and I just, woke up with my head in my boot this morning.
Man, he was slow.
And it's a weird thing I do sometimes when I get drunk. I take my shoes off and I lay down and watch television. And I use my boots as a pillow, and I rolled over and I went face first in my boot. And it wasn't too fun because I woke up this morning.
At least you
I had
didn't.
shoe leather like right here, divots in my face. It wasn't so good, but
As long as
Because
you're
I don't know how many times I've been out probably with these guys, right? Been going out and like there's nothing to do on a Saturday night, right? Or something like that or something. We start drinking and it's like, well, if I keep hanging around these guys and they keep drinking, like eventually I'll be having fun. I'm not having fun now, but and just, on and on and on like that. And maybe you sometimes even go too far like that where you're just totally out of it. I wonder if that's part of that's part of the whole thing, I think. What leads people to do this, right?
There's enormous
Boredom
consumption
in
of
that case.
alcohol, and obviously it's not nutritional. So
Right.
it must have some sort of happiness.
actually, it is
related.
nutritional. Guinness beer.
Oh,
If you
Guinness
drink
for
one Guinness a
strength,
day,
yeah.
it
Okay.
provides an iron.
True, but there's other sorts of nutrition. Obviously, yeah.
You could ask.
Hey, Dick Dastardly. What are you trying to do? Hey, Dick Dastardly. Who you trying to make yourself out to be?
I've got you now, Penelope. I've got you now, Penelope. I've got you now, Penelope.
You'll never catch me, Dick Dastardly.
I've got you now, Penelope.
I hope our comments are worthy of the grub.
Yeah, the thing about improving the world by stopping eating meat really is going to start today. Tomorrow I will.
What's your name?
Joe Kramer. What was your name?
Louise.
Nice to meet you, Louise. What is your relation to the group? Are you a... No, I just... Because we were all sort of explained to each other prior to your arrival.
I've known them since high school.
Oh, you're a friend of Joe's.
And Bob and Dan.
Oh, I see. So it's the four of you against the three of us.
That's right. That's right.
Put it in the most paranoid possible terms.
So you have a degree in philosophy from the University of
No,
Chicago?
no, I had a degree in political science, but at the University of Chicago, all degrees are really degrees in philosophy. I
Yeah,
really
I
believe
majored in
that.
philosophy. Ripon College.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm a graduate of Knox. We're athletic
Knox.
rivals. Yes, well, I think we're in similar athletic conferences.
Yes.
We were decades ago, at any rate.
This piece of tape that we shot, whatever, in our original interview, when we talked about, becoming a mailman, we were pretty offhanded about it. I'm actually quite interested in being a college boy myself. I'm kind of interested in that moment when you made the choice or whatever to be a mailman.
Yes, it wasn't some dramatic catharsis. It wasn't some moment of truth in which the light shone forth and I henceforth walked out a
for example,
mailman.
these University of Chicago students who I showed this footage to are, they're all wondering terrified about their future, right, and all that sort of thing.
Well, I found it a terrific refuge because you do have peace of mind and they sort of leave you alone mentally. So many jobs, they sort of want you to think the way the organization thinks. They make certain mental demands on you to be a part of the organization. The Postal is unique, and it's the only organization I know where the individuals choose themselves. Even the bosses choose themselves. Somebody wants to be a boss and they're persistent enough, they make them a boss. It's almost like the French Foreign Legion. You give your name, and whatever name you give, that's how you're known from that day forward. It's really, in some ways, a tremendously egalitarian organization. How many organizations do you know? I mean, we were talking about the electrical workers union a minute ago. You have to have some sort of a litmus test, some sort of an entry barrier. I don't care if it's a college degree or a union card or whatever. Post office, somehow, for some reason, you simply have to pass a very generic civil service test. And without really too many further questions, they take you on and they test you for honesty periodically. There's various tests.
What is that honesty test like?
Oh, they'll maybe drop a $20 bill in front of you and see if you pick it up, that sort of thing. It's sort of primitive.
How do they manage that? Why do they do that in secret?
No, you just suddenly find it there. And then
Where?
Anywhere. It could be like on a table or in a...
These guys are following you around on the street with dark glasses.
Well, if I knew that, of course, it wouldn't be successful. But no, you're periodically tested for honesty, which I have no quarrel with. In fact, that keeps the system honest because you don't want to have the U.S. mail's question for whether or not, gee, will I get this check or won't I? That has to be sort of a given, otherwise it will quickly fall apart.
So, I mean, Joe, this pursuit of happiness thing, I mean, that had to have been crossing your mind when, I don't know what your options were instead of becoming a mailman. Deciding what was important and what wasn't important must have, at least crossed your mind.
I sort of blundered into it, to be honest with you. It was sort of a summer job that never ended. I hate to say it, but it was really no great. Yeah, it's just dumb luck, in other words.
Sure.
Probably the really important decisions in life are just sort of dumb luck. One becomes a dentist, a doctor, a lawyer. 18-year-old kid decides what the 50-year-old man's going to wind up being.
Yeah. That's true.
And so, in my case, that's what this, I was in my 20s, of course, but that's what this 20-odd-year-old person decided that I was going to be.
Right.
And so here I am. But...
You still talk to that 20-year-old?
No.
Your inner child?
Not on speaking terms.
Well,
the problem is we discovered his inner child was Macaulay Culkin.
I'm not even sure what cartoon you're from, but boy, you're evil.
I've got you now, Penelope. I've got you now, Penelope.
Dig Dastardly! Right in the open plains! The search show! Spits! No! No! The world is his oyster!